when you are pouring that and after solidification, what happens? You are going to get the final shape. That's why it is called as forming. So you are forming into the required shape. So it is the primary shaping process. In this, you have casting, powder metallurgy, and plastic technology. So even plastic also, what you will do, you will flow the required plastic into the required shape. That is the mold. So what happens? Whatever shape is there, it will be attained by that. Okay. So in this way, the forming process is the basic, and it is the oldest technology that is being used. So you understood now? Forming process means what? You understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, students, I want the response now. Yes. Okay. So in this, there are three different types. So one is casting means you will use molten. Molten metal means you will melt the metal, okay, and pour into the required shape. Powder metallurgy means you're going to use some type of powder with some additives, so that what happen after cooling it will form into the required shape. It will form into the required shape. Then plastic technology. So this is also same. The liquid plastic will be sent into the mold and you are going to get the required shape as a final object or the final product. Next comes is the deforming process. So I can't show the video now because I can't repeat the class again. Anyway, I'll send you this PPT today after completing the session. So you can go through the video. Okay. Next one is deforming process. So deforming process is nothing but you are going to use some stresses like compression, okay, tension or shear forces, or sometimes a combination of shear and compression sometime, or tension and compression sometime, depending upon the object what you are manufacturing. So it is similar to, for example, in your workshop, first year engineering workshop, I think all of you worked on a sheet metal working. So they have given a object. What you have done, you have just cut that sheet according to the given dimension and you have placed that onto the bench wise. Then you have hit it with the hammer so that you are going to get the required shape. So in the same way, it may not be the same, not only manually, you may also do using some equipment or machinery. So this is deforming. Why we call it as deforming? Because whatever object was there, you are getting into the shape you want by giving some forces like compression or tension forces. That's why it is called as deforming. So you are not forming it, but you are applying some forces on it to get the required shape. So you understood now, all of you? Deforming means what? Yes, students, I want the response.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now the next one is machining or removing process. So machining or metal removing process. So this is nothing but you are going to use the tool, okay, and the workpiece. So you are going to give some relative motion between the tool and the workpiece in such a way that the unwanted material you are removing. Okay, you are removing the unwanted material and you are going to retain the shape whatever you want. Okay, so this is having different types in that. Okay, so they are turning process, drilling process, milling process, grinding, like the different machining processes are there. Okay, so this is nothing but in this you are going to create a relative motion between the workpiece, relative motion between the workpiece and the tool. Sometimes this tool may be stationary and the workpiece may be rotating or reciprocating. So depending upon the requirement, you are going to use the different machines that are available for you. Okay, so I'll just show this video because you can't understand this because it will not this machine in your day-to-day or common, it is not common in your day-to-day life. That's why I'll show this video. Please go through. I'll just put for 2 seconds. That's it. చెప్పు ఆంటీకి క్లాస్ లో ఉన్నాను. It's not opening, huh? Okay, you watch it afterwards. Okay, I don't know what's the problem. Okay, next is joining process. Okay, joining process. Joining process is nothing but you are going to join two different materials. Okay, either by welding or sometimes what happen if it is some electronic equipment. You can't join using welding because the temperature is high. What happened? The motherboard, everything will get melted off. So at that time you may use soldering or sometimes you may use brazing also. So there are different types of welding processes. We are going to study all these in the respective units. Okay. So the next one is surface finish process. The next one is surface finish process. Surface finish is nothing but, see, generally when you manufacture like anything, like for example you use your tables, right? You use tables and you use some equipment, okay, metallic equipment. So for that what they will do, on the top they will give some coating like thing. Okay, this coating is useful to give a good look wise also it will give a good finish to you, and also safety is also very important. And sometimes this finishing, that is sometimes you may give some coating on it so that what happen, it will not react with the atmosphere. So surface finish process is also a very important process for all the equipments whatever you are manufacturing or a product whatever you are manufacturing. So depending upon the base metal you will use a type of finish on that. You understood, right? What is the finish, students? You know, right? What is the finish? Surface finish means, for example, you have a steel metal, okay, and you have a iron metal. So what happens if you use steel and if it is left in the atmosphere for some days, you will not get rust. Okay, but if you leave the iron metal in the atmosphere, you will get rust or not? You'll get, because it will react with the oxygen and forms iron oxide. Yes, everyone knows that. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
No one is, yeah. So what happened when you get the rust? What happened? It will damage the component. It can't work as it was intended to. Okay, it will not work as it. So what happened? You need to give some coating. Okay, so depending upon the requirement, you will give the coating. So that coating is nothing but it comes under surface finish. So there are different surface finish processes. We will learn this in the fourth unit. Then these are the examples of surface finish methods: plastic coating, organic finishes, buffing, all those things. Okay, next is material properties modification. So material properties modification is also very much important. Okay, why? Because material properties modification is nothing but, sometimes what happen, uh, you want some material which is having brittleness, okay, but when you use the base metal like that only, what happens, you will not have that much brittleness. So what you will do, you will try to heat it at some temperature and see that a particular temperature is reached, and then you are cooling it so that the brittleness is obtained to your object. So depending upon the properties you want in the metal, you may add some other material to that, that is alloying. Alloying is nothing but, for example, with the iron, you may use some other materials like magnesium or aluminum. So maybe 15% of aluminum you may use in the iron, or maybe you may use some magnesium also. So that what happened, there are some properties being modified in your base metal. So you may require this as the final object. So material properties modification is being taught in fourth unit. So in this topic we will read in the fourth unit. So coming to the first unit, okay, these are, I've given different aerospace companies. You can go through when I forward you this PPT. Okay, and then these are the companies, manufacturing companies that are there in our India. Okay, so you can go through this. So coming to the unit 1, in unit 1 you have casting and welding. Okay, there are two topics in unit 1. So the first topic is casting. So casting is the first unit topic, and I'm going to start with that. Okay, casting is a manufacturing process. Okay, so it is one of the manufacturing process where the liquid material is poured into the mold. I told you, right? Mold is nothing but it is the hollow cavity that has been created due to the pattern. So what you will do is you will use first the pattern. On that pattern you will pour some sand, and you will just make that sand settle properly, and after that you will remove this pattern. So that what happened, when you remove this pattern, the whatever shape of the pattern is there, that will be there as a hollow shape. So after that you will pour the required molten metal. So if you want to create an object with aluminium, you will pour aluminium liquid, that is aluminium melted liquid you will pour. If you want steel, you will pour steel. So like that, depending upon your requirement, you will use the metal. Okay, this is about casting. Then comes is the casting products. Example I have given here. Okay, various examples. All these are aircraft products only. Okay, of different materials. You can see. Okay, Inconel, nickel super alloys, Inconel, stainless steel. So there are different materials and different products also. Okay. So till this, everyone understood now till this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Students.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I can go. I can go forward. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. So now casting. So casting is very old process. I told you, right? As I mentioned, it is a very old process. It is from 6,000 years ago. We are using this, but we will be using it because this is a basic manufacturing process, and it is very easy. Why? Because the liquid, the molten metal, you can see whatever that has been melted is molten metal will attain whatever shape it is being poured into. That's why it is very easy to manufacture. That's why we use this continuously, even though it is very old process. Okay, so in this casting you have different types. Okay, so the casting is classified on two basic types. One is classification based on the method that is being employed, and classification based on the materials being used. Okay, so the first one is you classify them as bench molding. Bench molding is nothing but you can keep that object or the process on a bench and you will do the complete process. And if it is very big, you can't handle on the bench, so at that time you will go for the floor molding. Means you will keep everything related to this process on the floor and you will do the process. And if it is very big, even you can't handle that, okay, you will go for the pit molding. Pit molding means very big pit will be used, and that will be used as a molding flask. Then is machine molding. Machine molding is for bench molding and floor molding also you will use this machine molding. Machine molding is nothing but it is a automation. Okay, automation, semi automation, where instead of ramming the air by manually, you will use this machine molding. Okay, next, this is pit molding. You can see the pit molding, how much big pit is there. You can see these are the dowel pins where the upper flask will come, and inside that you will pour the molten metal, and finally you will get the final shape out of it. Okay, next. Next is the classification based on the material used. So depending upon this, there are two types: expandable molding and non-expandable molding. Okay, so the basic difference between these two is in expandable molding, what happens, whatever object that you are want to get out of it, that is the final object, you can get it, but the setup, complete setup, that is the molding, sand, everything, whatever you are setting up, you have to remove that. Then only you will get the final object out of it. Okay, for example, I'll show you here. See, everyone, you can see the steps here. Students, you can see the steps now.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here everyone please concentrate. This is the first step. First step you see this blue color, okay, this rectangular one. I'll just see. This blue color is there, no? This one. Okay. This is your moulding flask. Okay. This is your moulding flask. So in that moulding flask, this is your pattern. Okay. This is your pattern. And you have kept this pattern and this is your upper moulding flask. Okay. Upper moulding flask. So you have both lower moulding flask and upper moulding flask. And what you are going to do is you are going to put this sand, this yellow color, you know, right? This is sand. So after putting the sand, what you will do, you will ram it properly. Ram it properly means you will make it just, for example, you are pouring some flour. Okay, you know flour, atta, you can say atta, into some container. What you will do generally, after when it is full, you will just move your bottle in such a way that it will settle down and some gap is provided. Yes, you will do that in your day-to-day life. Yes, students, no one
Yes,
is
ma'am.
responding. You are there or not? Yeah, yeah. You understood, right? What I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is happening when you are settling that some air gaps, whatever air gaps are there, all those will go and the sand will settle properly. So you can see in the sixth one, the sand has been settled properly. Okay. So that what happened after some time, you will remove the upper flask. You will remove the upper flask and this whatever pattern is there, this ash color is there, no, that pattern you will remove. Okay, so you will remove. So that what happened, even if the pattern is removed, this mold, okay, what I told is nothing but it is a hollow cavity. So that hollow cavity will be obtained as the shape whatever pattern is there. You understood, right? So this is your pattern. So that shape only it is having. So that what happened when you are pouring the molten metal, the metal will go into this and finally you will get a casting like this. Okay, after cooling. Only after cooling you will get the casting. Okay, but what is happening if you want to remove this casting, this ash color is there, no? What you have to do, you have to remove the upper flask, you have to remove the sand, right? So if you want to get the object out, you have to remove the complete setup whatever you have created. So once if you are creating one setup, you are getting only one object out of it. That's why it is called as expandable. Expandable means every time you have to do the process. You understood what I told? Yes, students. You understood now what is casting now?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Any doubts you ask me, ma, I'll stop at that point. Again, I'll explain. Okay? Clear? So this
Okay,
is
ma'am.
these are what the steps involved in casting. Okay. So expandable means what? Expandable means what? You are going to use the complete setup once. And if you want to remove the final object, you have to break the complete setup. Then only you will get your final object. Okay. And if it is non-expandable, you will have a mold. Okay. Just you will send the liquid metal into that, and when it is closed, that metal will go inside, and when you open, the casting will come out. So you are not every time doing the setup. Okay, you will be having a metal dice, into that you will send the liquid. So that's why it is called as non-expandable. Means once if you prepare a mold, you will be using that continuously without any breaking. Okay, that's why it is called as non-expandable. So 1 minute. Now I request Vaishnavi. Vaishnavi, Vaishnavi, are you there? Vaishnavi,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, you just tell me what's the difference between expandable and non-expandable. Hello? Yes, you understood or not? Vaishnavi, Anyone else can explain what's the difference between expandable and non-expandable casting process? Any other can explain? No one? See, if you do like this, how can I know whether you are listening to me or not? That's why I asked you to switch on the cameras. Yesterday also I messaged, but no one is switching on. Okay, at least any one of you can explain me the difference between expandable molding and non-expandable molding. I have repeated 2 times. Yesterday also I have given that, and today also I have given that explanation. Any one of you? Any problem for you in the explanation? Please let me know, ma. Because I don't know, right? Any doubts? Huh? You understood or not? Vaishnavi, you understood or not? Akram Ali? Akram Ali, are you there? Akram Ali, are you there? Yes, my students. I want the response. What happened? No one is there? Are you not able to hear me? Ganesh? Ganesh is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh?
Yes,
Ganesh is not there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, tell me what's the difference between expandable modeling process and non-expandable modeling process.
Well, non-expandable will be cannot be reused, ma'am.
You are telling the opposite. It can be reused. For example, you have a mold. Okay, it will be made of some metal and it will be atomized. So what happened? The liquid will go inside and it will, after solidification, it will just open up. You will take the final object out of it. You told about expandable. Okay, at least you have told that point. I'm happy for that. But please be clear now. If you are not able to understand, please let me know. Okay, I don't know, right? If you're not responding, I can't understand. Yes or no? I think that you are able to understand. Any problem, please let me know or stop at that point. Okay, I'll again explain that. Now, at least you understood what is expandable and non-expandable.
Yes, ma'am.
Expandable means expanding, means every time you have to create a mold, you have to pour the metal, and when you want to remove the object out of it, you have to destroy the complete setup. Then only you will get the object out of it. Expandable means every time you have to do. Non-expandable means only once you will create the mold, every time you will continuously use that mold only. You will not break the mold. Okay, that is the difference between expandable and non-expandable. Okay, understood, right? I'll go to the next topic. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so I can go now, students.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what are the steps involved in casting? Means first, whatever you want to do, you want a pattern. For example, whatever object I want, I'll prepare a pattern out of it. Okay, because without pattern, I'll not get the mold and I'll not get the shape. Yes, so first step is pattern. You have to make the pattern. Pattern is nothing but it is a replica of the final object, whatever you want. Okay, if you want to prepare a chalk piece, what they'll do, they'll have some chalk piece shape, there's some cylindrical shape box, okay, hollow section in a box, and they will pour the liquid powder in that. So that what happen after solidification, you will get a chalk piece out of it. In the same way, whatever pattern you want, that is the object you want, you will prepare a pattern out of the same shape. So that what happen, you will use that in the process. The next step is you will prepare the mold and core preparation. Mold and core preparation is nothing but what you will keep the pattern in that, and you will get a hollow shape. Mold is nothing but you will make the hollow shape. Yes or no? If you get the hollow shape only, you can pour the metal and you will get the shape out of it. Core is nothing but sometimes what happen, in the object only you may have some hollow sections. At that place you will use this core. Okay, so in the mold, already mold is a hollow shape, but after solidification the metal will be a solid section only. In that solid section, if you want some holes or all the patterns in that, you will use cores in that cores. Okay, and the next one is gating system. Gating system is nothing but, see, the pattern will be somewhere in the half way of the molding flask. You have both lower flask and upper flask, right? So you can't pour directly the metal, molten metal, in the mold. Okay, because when you pour, what happens, for example, you know this you have, all of you have terrace, and from the terrace the rainwater, if it is coming, what you will have an outlet. Yes, have you noticed? So from this outlet, for example, that outlet water is coming and falling directly onto the sand or the soil there. What happens after a few days, you will see some pit has formed there. Have you noticed that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes or no? Yes. So that what happen, when you pour like that only the molten metal directly in the mold shape will change. So to avoid all this, you will provide some gating system. Gating system means what it will do? It will slowly transfer the molten metal to the mold without destroying the shape. Okay, that is nothing but your gating system. The third step is you have to create some gating system so that the molten metal will slowly follow the passage and enter into the mold without disrupting the mold. Okay, then you will melt the metal and pour into the mold. Then allow it to cool. Then you will clean it. Clean it nothing but, see, you are removing it from the section, that is, it was having some sand on the surroundings, everything. So you have to clean that. Sometimes some unwanted places also the solidification may be obtained, that also you have to remove. Then you have to go for the testing. Testing is nothing but whether the required object has been obtained in the same shape and volume, you will check. That is nothing but testing. So any doubts in this steps, you can ask me, ma. You understood, right? What are the different steps in this casting?
Yes, ma'am.
See, I'll be asking any one of you while the class is going on. So be clear that you are writing down the topics. You write down the steps involved. First, write down the steps involved. First, write down what are the two types, that is expandable and non-expandable. Under that, you write down steps involved in casting. Steps involved in casting. All of you can write down steps involved in casting. I'll give you time. Write down steps involved in casting. Steps involved in casting. First one is pattern making. So what is pattern? Pattern is nothing but the replica of the final object what you want. First step is pattern making. Then mold and core preparation. Mold and core preparation. Mold and core preparation. So here mold means, you know, it is the hollow shape that has been obtained by the pattern, and core is nothing but some hollow sections if you want in the final object, you will use this core. Okay. So mold and core preparation. Everyone written second point? Yes, I want the response, ma. I want the response.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
third step is, thank you. The third step is making the gating system. Making the gating system. You write down gating system. GATING. Gating system. Making the gating system. Making the gating system. Making the gating system. Yes, next one is, fourth one is melting and pouring the metal. 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 Okay, next, allow the mold to solidify. Allow the mold to solidify. The next point is allow the mold to solidify. Next, fettling. 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 Next one is testing and inspection. Last point is testing and inspection. Testing and inspection. Testing and inspection. Yes, hope everyone have completed.
Yes, ma'am.
Shall I go to the next slide, ma? Shall I go?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So now these are the steps. So what you do, you leave some space, and after you I complete this and I forward the PPT to you. Draw the steps in the notes. Okay. So weekly once or 10 days once, I'll ask you to upload the notes to the Microsoft Teams, so that I'll give the rating. That is marks. I'll allot you the marks depending upon the notes how much you are completing. Okay. Now, the casting terms. Okay, you should know, right, the definitions of each and every term that are using in your modeling process or casting process. The first thing is pattern. So what I told, pattern is nothing but it is the replica of the final object. Okay, so that with that only you will create the mold cavity. So the process, complete process will depend on the quality of your pattern only. Yes or no? Because if the pattern is there correct, you will get the correct output or the correct final object you will get. So these are different types of patterns here. Okay. So these are the different types of patterns here. See the different patterns I have kept here. Okay. So pattern. So pattern is generally prepared out of wood. Okay, it may be prepared by using wood, and sometimes it may be prepared by using metal, and maybe plastic. Okay, and sometimes plaster and polyurethane foam, and sometimes wax. And this last wax I told you, right, this wax pattern is used only in one method, one type of method only, but generally you will go for wood. Why? Because wood is somewhat cheap, and if you want to manufacture also, you can manufacture into whatever shape you want. But sometimes what happens, the wood has some problems. You can't use that for many years, right? So at that time you will go for metal. Okay, but metal has other problems like environmental issues. So it should be safeguarded by the environment. So you understood, right? What are the pattern materials? Means with what material you will make your pattern. Understood, ma? So these are the different materials that you use to make the pattern. Okay, write down. Next one you write down. What is pattern? You write down. Casting terms you write down, ma. Casting terms, and write down pattern. Pattern. Pattern is the replica of the final object you write down. Pattern is the replica of the final object. You write down. Casting terms, first point is pattern. Pattern is the replica of the final object. You have written now, all of you?
Yes.
Okay. So the next one, pattern materials you write down. Pattern materials you write down. Pattern materials you write down.